My cup
of tea. Hey Jimmy, can I ask you a question?
No.
I don't care, I'm still going to ask. Alright, so what happened to me last week? Some communication error, a lot of problems that keep on happening. Okay, so I was planning a birthday surprise for a group of friends. So we have group chat, one with the birthday girl and one obviously without lah. So I was supposed to take a photo of the gift that we got for the birthday girl. I accidentally sent the photo into the wrong chat. I sent it to the one with the birthday girl in it, and immediately she replied, "Is it for me?" So I kind of spoiled the surprise a little. But then they kept on saying that it's okay, Tina, we don't blame you because it's Mercury retrograde. Blame the Mercury. I'm like, why blame Mercury? What is Mercury retrograde? Can you explain?
So Mercury is in charge of our communication. When we look at Mercury, we are also talking about our planning, transportation. Okay, it is also about learning and connecting.
Okay.
So when Mercury is retrograding, it means there's a bit of disruptions in this energy movement.
So I can imagine it like driving a car. I'm supposed to go forward in this lane,
Yes.
but I reverse, then I cause a lot of disruption behind.
It can be a reverse. It can also be a jerk. You know, like how the movement is interrupted. Yeah, I hate that, I tell you. It gives me a lot of nauseous.
Okay.
So when we talk about this Mercury retrograde, we are looking at how our interactions, how our communications, even our plannings and traveling is going to be interrupted, and there will be a lot of annoyance in our life.
So it's like the plan can still continue, just like my example, the birthday girl. Supposed to be a surprise, but because I sent it into the wrong group chat, she already know it.
Yes.
But the plan will still go on to have the celebration.
But interestingly, I must say, because you are Sun Sagittarius, Sagittarius tends to be a bit more, how do I put it? Messy, spontaneous. Let's call it spontaneous. So because of that, right, your plannings are not really in hand. So therefore,
it wasn't it.
Yes, correct. So when we talk about Mercury retrograde, who are the ones that actually will not be affected the most? Generally, people who are very careful in their planning. They always double check, triple check, and then they are very organized.
So when you say that, I'm thinking of like Capricorn, Taurus.
Possible.
Yeah.
Virgo as well. Okay. So interesting part here. Mercury is in charge of organization and communication, right? So technically, when we look at Virgo, they are well known to be what?
Very organized.
Very organized.
Perfectionist.
Correct. So when Mercury retrogrades,
I think they will go crazy.
so that's how you know the Virgo will go crazy easily.
Okay. So that is what Mercury retrograde is
Correct.
about. Okay.
You're listening to My Cup
of Tea. Okay, Jimmy, so I have been scrolling social media and I see a lot of posts, right, about Mercury retrograde. And then I kept seeing this term. Okay, and the term is block your ex. Why? What has it got to do with ex and Mercury retrograde?
Put it this way, Mercury is about our communication and connections. So when it retrogrades, right, what happens is that people or situations that we don't want to come back to us may come back to us. So imagine you didn't have a clean breakup or your ex is coming back to you. How would you feel?
Horrible.
Annoying, right? Sometimes to the point of some people.
Awkwardness also.
Correct. So because of that, right, you will see every single time during Mercury retrograde, all the astrologers will just tell you to block your ex, block your enemy, block people that you don't like. Why? Because you don't want them to come back to you, especially
and
during the
disrupt your life.
Correct. Okay, and one more thing about Mercury retrograde, right, is that during Mercury retrograde, it is also what we call as a vintage season.
Vintage season?
What does it mean by vintage?
Going back to the past?
Going back to the past, yes. Okay, so when we talk about Mercury retrograde, very interesting, you will see that all the vintage stuff may come out.
Oh, so a lot
all
of
the
vintage
old movies,
stuff.
Old music,
okay,
old memories. Although memories is not by Mercury, but because Mercury is about connection, so you are connected to the past. Retrograde moving backwards ma.
Wow.
So there's a lot of old connections. So old connection includes your
Axa, block, Alex.
You're listening to My Cup
of Tea.
Tina, can you share with them what happened to our MCOT?
It was horrible. Just like what our video has actually shown, okay? We're supposed to record on the first week of April, which is the start of Mercury retrograde, right?
Yes.
And then one of us was sick, okay, and then we couldn't meet up for the recording. Then after they wanted to meet the second week, and my mother-in-law actually caught COVID, so my kids cannot be sent home to her place, and then we can't continue with the recording. Then the third week we met up to record. But oh my gosh, just like whatever that we say, it's like a jerk, and we gave up on the recording because we know that this is the energy probably we can't fight against.
Very, very strong. The obstruction is so strong. We had to just make change, and then we had to just give up.
And we were very annoyed by it. So please do cherish this video because we really try our best to create this for all of you to let you know what is Mercury retrograde and how you can overcome it. Yeah, we also will be sharing like when is the next one and also how we did overcome the current one.
You're listening to My Cup
of Tea. Okay, so Jimmy, is there anything that we can do to, handle this Mercury retrograde better since it's acting like a batch?
Okay, so during Mercury retrograde, okay, which happens like 3 to 4 times a year, okay, when we can choose to avoid the event, let's say we make any decisions, want to do any plannings, or we want to hold any kinds of events, if you can avoid the period where Mercury retrogrades.
Wait, Chotomate. I cannot go to my boss and then tell my boss that, boss, now it's Mercury retrograde. We don't have any meeting, okay? I think I will deal sad.
Yes. Okay, so when it comes to events that cannot avoid, okay, or decisions that you really have to make during that period, okay, the best way to go about it is do your checks properly. Don't just check once and then leave it as it is. Nearer to the event or the day itself, do the checks as well. Be very, very careful.
Okay, then what about, I also heard people saying like for traveling, making travel plans.
So during retrograde, right, I would say that the usual time that you take to travel to a destination, if let's say it takes about an hour, okay, give yourself a bit of buffer time. So don't just take an hour, give yourself up to maybe half an hour of travel time. So because of things like delay, bus breakdown, communication breakdown, okay, there will be any kinds of delays that can happen and it longers your traveling time.
Okay, so if let's say we are traveling, make sure like for example if we need 1 hour to the airport,
correct,
we go out probably half an hour earlier. If
yes,
not, the disruption will cause you to
yes,
see the
correct. Especially when you're going on holiday, like you say, double check your passport, whether you get your passport.
Yes.
Are you taking the correct passport? Happened to one of my friend. Yeah, happened to one of my friend. He took his old passport. Actually, that friend is me lah.
You took the old pass. Oh my god.
Yeah. So always do your check. But thankfully, I did my check right before I leave the house.
If not, imagine you go and then you come back, you go back to the airport.
Yeah.
You will see the plane.
I will miss my flight already.
Sayonara. Wow. Okay, so audience out there, remember to check, and check.
You're listening to My Cup
of Tea. Alright, so Jimmy, is there actually a theme for each Mercury retrograde? Because I understand like a year there can be many Mercury retrograde.
Not too many, but yes, up to 4 times. 3 to 4 times, depending on the year. Every 3-4 months, Mercury will retrograde a little bit.
Like menses coming.
Yeah.
Just a longer cycle.
And the effects are similar.
Make people annoyed, disrupt all the activities. I believe ladies will understand. Yeah, so is there a theme? I mean, menses no theme, but this one got theme or not?
Yes. So for this time round, the one that we are having this month is Aries energy.
Okay.
So Aries is about war, about fights, about anger. Okay. Aries is also about the drive, the actions taken. Now Aries is also representing the start of something.
The start of something.
Alright, so this Mercury retrograde actually slow us down, and also a reminder for us that we need to slow down and restart.
Maybe reflect? Do we need to reflect?
Every Mercury retrograde is about reflections already. Mercury retrogrades because it forces us to stop, reflect and act.
Okay, so it's more of like this time round it will ask us to reflect on our action.
Correct.
Then after that make plans again probably, and then because of Aries energy it will then push us out again.
Yes, and you can think of it that way. Yes, that's one way we can look at it. Or there might be war needed to start. For example, arguments or fights. And then because of the fight, then we realize that hey, we all need to take a step back because maybe our ego is in play. Communication is breaking down because of maybe unnecessary anger or built up emotions and all that.
Okay, I understand. So this is the theme. More in the Aries energy.
Aries energy.
You're listening to
My Cup
of Tea. Okay, Jimmy, so just now you did mention that Mercury retrograde happens like 3 or 4 times a year, correct?
Correct.
So when is the next one?
Okay, so the next coming up one will be in August. So it will move from Virgo back to Leo.
Virgo back to Leo. So is there any theme?
Yes, but we will share more in July. Okay, and we will also touch on each sign. What are the areas that you may want to look out for?
So I have to wait until July, huh?
Too bad.
Okay, let's wait together. Ding, ding.
You're listening to My Cup
of Tea.
So, Tina, what are all these candles for?
Okay, so for those of you, right here we have 3 candles. You can pick one and then we will let you know what do you have to let go from this Mercury retrograde. So for the group of you who have chosen the red candle, okay, the thing that you have to let go of from this Mercury retrograde is actually your logical thinking. You cannot go too strict with the book, with the rules, and everything have to play by the book. Yes, you need to let go of that.
So, meaning they have to be more flexible and adaptable.
Yes, correct. So for the second group of you who have chosen the purple candle over here, what you have to let go of from Mercury retrograde is actually the kind of social groups, the kind of friends that are draining out your energy. These are the people that you have to let go of.
So basically, people who are toxic. So you have to identify them and then let go.
Yes, identify your toxic friends. And lastly, for those who have chosen the candle with the star over here, what you have to let go of is actually hiding in your own hermit shell. It is time for you to step out.
So people start exposing themselves.
Not expose themselves, but more of like 好好说话。
Revealing themselves, showing themselves out in the world and start socialing around.
Yeah, showing up.